Thank you for installing Conestoga Connects. In this video, I'm going to show you how to order custom items such as doors, drawer fronts, molding, specialty items, and decorative items like ornaments. When you first go into Connects to order doors, you'll notice that the global is a little bit different than we had in OrderLink. One of the things that we ran into with OrderLink was that a lot of people complained about the fact that you had to enter the material and the finish in multiple areas, which led to a lot of mistakes. So when we worked on Connects, we looked at creating a simpler way to order your doors and products with the material and the finish so that you didn't have to do it multiple times. So we created this material global and finish global that carries through all the different products. And let me just go through that. So you'll notice that we have material type now. We can select between wood, MDF, and the alternative material like Allure, Strata, Preza, High Gloss. Once you pick the material, it's like a filter. So you're only going to see wood doors, MDF doors, or Strata designs. So I pick wood, and let's just pick hard maple, standard grade hard maple, and finish category. Let me just pick a color tone, and I'm going to go with crystal weight and coffee glaze. Okay. And with this option, the unitone option is available, and I can leave it blank, or I can just pick no because I don't want the unitone, or you can just leave it blank. However, you'll notice that if I go to the drawer fronts, I now see the same option selected. I don't have to enter it again on the drawer fronts. If I go to molding, it's there. Specialty and decorative. So you'll notice that the global holds the value throughout all the different products. Now, because of that change, one of the things we looked at was, okay, what happens if somebody doesn't realize that everything's changed and they come over to the molding, let's say, and they change it to another material? Obviously any change you make in here affects everything else. So what we did was we actually created a alert. So let's say I wanted to change this to soft maple. You'll notice that pops up, global special material was changed without editing the order. Please keep in mind that basically it's saying share through all the different products. Are you sure you want to proceed? Click yes, it changes, and it changes for all the different items. Click no, and it holds the hard maple. So that's kind of critical. So, just so you know, before you change the material, that it does now change for all the different products. So you have to be careful. So let's just go back to the doors, and let's continue on ordering our doors. So it drops down to the style. Okay, we added another filter, which right now defaults to all wood doors. If I click on that, you'll see that we have other selections. So, if you know that all you want to order is a Morrison 10 raised panel design, I can click that, and then I'm only going to see those designs. I'm not going to see all the different products. If you're not sure what category products you're looking for, if you go to all wood designs, then you can pick from any one of the different products. And you can always use a filter here under search. So let's say I'm looking for the CRB 10875 mitered door, and I don't want to scroll down this huge list of products to try to find it. I can come up to the search item, and let's type in 875. You'll see it shows me the solid panel and the plywood panel. Okay. All right, so just for this sample, I'm going to just order the generic CRB 10 design. And what it's doing now is it's going through and it's going through all the different options, and it's pulling in all the defaults. So you'll notice that if I go down further, you see most of the options are already pre-selected. I don't have to fill them in. The ones you do have to fill in are primarily going to be the edge profile, framing bead, panel raise, and hinge boring. Those are going to be the major ones that you have to fill in every time. Now, some of them, depending on the design you pick, the profile, edge profile might already be pre-filled in, as well as the framing bead. However, in this situation with the CRB 10, you have to pick it. So over here, we see the options for the edge profiles. If you know which one you want, let's say I want the B2, I can pick it. Or if I want to see the images, I can click on View Images, and it's going to show me all the different edge profiles. So I can pick B2 from here as well. Same thing with frame beads. I I can always view the images, or I can just pick which one I want. And also the panel raises will show you the images too. So let's just go with the reverse G-cove. And no hinge boring. Okay. And like I said, on all the other options that are there, you can put funny pinholes, radius corners, pegs, they're all there to pick. Same thing with like framing beads. With the framing width, if you wanted to change the framing width at the global level like we have in OrderLink, you can change from standard to custom, and then it'll allow you to put in, let's say, 3-inch framing on the door. And then it'll show 3-inch framing on all the doors. If you wanted to change it at the individual line item, just like in OrderLink, you can do that as well. You can click on the options on that one line and change the framing on that one door to something else. Okay. All right, so let's assume everything is, in this point, is filled in. And if I wanted to go over to the drawer fronts, and you'll notice that is also different. In OrderLink, we have the doors and drawer fronts combined. In here, they're actually a separate line. So it's just a different section for the doors and the drawer fronts that keeps them separated. And before in OrderLink, they were kind of side by side. So if I wanted to, I can right click and I can do a copy door options to fronts. And it's going to pull most of the globals over. It doesn't pull them all over, but it does make it a lot easier. So if I go over to the drawer front section, you'll see that for the most part, most of the information is there. The only thing I have to pick right now looks like the panel raise. I'm just going to make it a flat view 57, and everything else is filled in. And you'll notice it also filled in horizontal grain for the drawer front. It knows that it's going to have horizontal grain. Let's go back to the doors again. One of the options that a lot of people pick now are the hybrid panel. They want the MDF panel. And in OrderLink, you had to locate it within the raise section. We actually had an MDF version of each of the raises shown, and so you had to pick that. And here, what we did was we created an option called hybrid. So you pick your normal raise, but then you come over here down to the MDF panel. You change it from no, and you change it to yes, and that's it. Do the same thing over here on the drawer fronts. I can change it from no to yes, and that's it. All right, so once you do that, your globals are done. You come down to the grid and you start entering your sizes. So we'll just put a quantity of 2 in here, and we'll go with 15 by 30. All right, if I had hinge boring, I can then select it from here. Left, right, paired, none. Special instructions, instead of being in a tab like we had under the options in OrderLink, it's now at the front, so you can actually enter a special instruction right at the line item level. Self-note column, we added a self-note column in here. You can add a note on it. Let's say, I can put in here, let's say cabinet 1, knowing the store is going to be the cabinet 1. That'll then show up on the acknowledgement of the line item when you send it over to us. The special global inceptions are now located on the front as well. So instead of going into options to do it, this little explanation point is that column. So if I click on their little gray box, I double click that, and it opens up. And you'll now see that it's going to pull up the globals for that particular door. And once you'll see it opens up, it'll enable me to change any one of the global information on this one line item. So I could change the edge profile, I could change the framing bead, I could change raise, anything I want to change, material, the finish, and it's going to change it on just that one line item. All right, so let's open up options. You're going to see that the options have really changed in here. So we'll click on options, and you'll see that we actually have now the look of a door. In OrderLink, it was just a square box. So let me just, if I double click on the top bar right here, it actually blows it up and makes it bigger. There you go. So now you'll see this nice image of a door. Now, keep in mind, it's a generic representation. It does not show all the different door design looks. I wish it did. It would be nice, and it's something we look at doing in the future. But right now, it's a generic drawing. Looks like a Morrison Tennant design, 2 5/16 framing, which is really cool because you now see the framing on all the door designs. And over here on the right are all the different options. So in OrderLink, we had different tabs. And here it shows a list of all the different possible options you can get on doors. For instance, second edge would be like a Lazy Susan. So if you wanted to, let's say, change the edge profile on one of the sides, you click on second edge, and it'll allow you then to change the edge profile on on the door. So I could, let's say I picked a B2 for my main profile. If I wanted one side to have a machine edge, I could click on second edge, and I'll show you. Double click that, and down here it drops down second profile. Let's change that to machine, and we'll go into location, and we'll do, let's say, left. Okay. So now, once I do that, I make my selection, and let's say that's all the options I want on that door. I click OK, and you'll see it pops it over here to the side, brings it back over, and you'll see that I now have two doors, 15 by 30, and I have a second edge, and it says machine edge left. Now, obviously, if there's two doors, it probably should have done paired, but just so you can see how the different options work, it'll show it under the, and right now it's doing an autosave for me, which is also that nice new feature I showed in my first video. But one of the things that confuses people right now is the fact that if I have more than one door, when you do add an option, it shows one. And keep in mind, there's a little red triangle here. It says quantity per door. So that just means that it's just a single option, but that option is being applied per door. So I know it gets confusing. People think, oh, well, that should see two. No, it's just a single option, but that option is being applied to all the different quantities of on that order. So both doors will get the same option applied. Well, what's nice is you'll see now you have line number 1, and now line 1.01 is the option. You're going to see that every option that you enter is going to show directly under the size, under the door that you've entered. So let's just go over here and add another design. And we'll show a couple other options. Okay. All right. Framing. So if I wanted to change the framing on let's say, the left style, if I click on it, it highlights it in red. And it opens up over here on the left. And I can now change that, let's say, to 3 inches. Okay. 3 inches, and you see that it shows the framing changing on the door, which is nice. And it drops it just below the door. It says 15 by 36, custom door 3. And actually, the information is kind of, you're missing. If I drag that over, you'll see the whole thing. Custom door left style 3. I click OK. Just like on the other line, it pulls it out back over. I have custom left door. And you can always drag these if you can't see all the information. You can drag them across. So custom left door style 3. And it's nice because it adds it directly below the door. You see it all together now. You don't have to hover over that item to see it, like it was a red triangle in the order link. We had to hover over to see what you selected. Now, keep in mind, every option that you pick, it shows 0, but what it's doing is it's actually recalculating into the main cost of the door. You don't see the actual option cost because it rolls right into the cost of the door. All right, let's drop down and we'll enter another size. Actually, let's enter a larger one. It's oversized, 52 inches. Okay. Just like in order link, we have the validations in here too. So, if you enter a door and you, for instance, this is oversized, it's over 48. If you enter one in and you click on validate at the top, what it's going to do is going to run through the rules just like an order link, and it's then going to pop back and show me any validation messages. And you can see that because it's over 48 inches, I'm getting an oversized single panel door, not warranted against warpage. Are you sure you don't want to multi-panels? Okay. All right, so let's open up the options on this one line item. And you'll see I have my big door right here. And over here on the right are my options. And let's say we want it to be 2 panels upright. We have the 2-panel upright option right here. If I click on that, it highlights it. But if I double click it, it pulls the option in. And you'll notice it pulls a 2.5-inch middle rail, which is our standard width of our middle rail on most of our designs, 2.5 inches. And you'll see it adds the 2-panel upright options down here. So let's say we want to take this a little further. I want this to be unequal panels. I can then click on, let's say, the top panel. I'll click on that. It opens it up. Over here on the left, it shows me my height on this particular size. That opening is 22 7/16. If I want to change that, I can click on there, and let's change it to 11 inches. And you're going to see that it adjusts. So I clicked on that, it adjusts accordingly, so you see the changes immediately. Just like it works just like the front frame editor we have in OrderLink. It's using the same technology, but now it's incorporated into the doors as well as the door fronts. So that's really nice. And if I wanted to, I could actually print it out. So if I wanted to take it out to the shop, show somebody, show it to a client, I can click print, and it's going to print out the drawing for me, which is really nice. Okay, and you see, just like with the other lines, it pulls it directly under there. 2 panels upright, panel 1 height 11 inches, and shows me the option. So let's say you wanted to do a frame only on this design. And I'm going to show you a couple different ways on here. So although, this is obviously a big door to make a frame only, but I'm just going to use this one as an example. Over here on the right, just like we have all the other options, we have frame only options. If I click on that, it takes the panel out, and you see now it drops down here. It pulls in the frame only option. And if I scroll down further, you'll see that pulls in clear molding, yes, and framing openings all. And that's important because of what I'm going to show you next. In this situation, let's say you want it to be a 2-panel high door with let's say a frame only top and a panel bottom. So I have the frame only selection done right now, but let's say I wanted this frame only to be only, let's say, on the top section. If I click on the 2-panel upright option, okay, I now have a 2-panel upright, but now it's a frame only top and bottom. However, if you notice, there's that frame only opening option. Okay, this was added so that you no longer have to add special notes in OrderLink like we did when you want a frame only top and a panel bottom. So now, if I click on that and the drop down, you'll see that when I click on this option, it requires that I have a 2-panel upright door selected. I can now change this from all. I can make it top, and I can make it bottom. So if I click on top, it's going to be frame only top with a panel bottom. If I click on bottom, it's going to be a frame only bottom with a panel top. Now, the only downside is when I click the option, it would be nice if the panel shown here and the frame only shown here. Fortunately, it doesn't. It's something we can look at doing in the future, but I can assure you that by the selection of the options, it's going to give you exactly what you're looking for. If I click OK, it's now going to show me a 13 by 52. It's a 2-panel upright. It's a frame only, and there's a little notepad over here. It shows me the options picked. And once I hover over it, you'll see that clear molding right, yes, opening top. So it's going to be a frame only on the top. It's going to give you a panel on the bottom. I could do the exact same thing, but add a mullion to that top section. So if I open this back up, okay, I could actually, let's delete the frame only option. So I'm going to click on frame only. I'm going to delete it. Okay, and now it's just a regular 2-panel high door. And I can come over here to the mullions. So we have different mullion selections: standard, complex, offset, special designs. So you have your standard mullions, you have your complex mullions, your offset mullions, and your special designs mullions. So if I click on standard mullions and double click it, okay, pops the panels out again. And now what it does, it brings the options up. Okay, how many lights wide do you want it? And let's say I want it 2 by 3, or actually I pick 2, but let's do 3. All right, so 2 by 3, 6 lights. I can now change it. If I scroll down a little further, you see that same options there. And I can change that to, let's say, top. So now I'm going to get those mullions in the top, and it's going to be a panel in the bottom, which is, that's going to be cool as far as getting that overall look. You're going to have a mullion top and a panel bottom. Okay. And you can see that the option pulls under it, 2 by 3, and just like in the other one, you can see that the option's picked. And it's going to be a frame only, so those mullions are going to be in the top section and not in the bottom section. So those are some of the different options you can do, and like I said, just like in OrderLink, it's a matter of kind of getting used to the way that the options work. It's just laid out a little bit differently, but all the same things we can do in OrderLink we can do in K'NEX. Drawer fronts, obviously drawer fronts are pretty much the same. There's not a whole lot different in here. Let's just do one 26 by 8, and let's just open up the options. You can see now the default 1.5 rails, 2 5/16 styles, and you can see that looks like a little door. Looks like the drawer front, 1.5" framing, and some of the different options, like if you want to change the edge profile, appliance panels, cut downs. Obviously, a lot less options you can pick on the drawer front. You can pick on the door. So let's say we have a small one. So let's say we have one that's 25 by 4, and it's too small, and you want to make it a slab drawer front. So in this situation, you could do a global exception. I could click on that, and I could change it to a slab and go through the options and change it that way as a global exception. But if I open up the options, we have a slab option, just like we had in OrderLink. We have a little checkbox. We have a slab option right here. If I double click that, and if I double click it, it pulls in the slab. So it changes from a mortise and tenon design to a slab drawer front. Okay. And you can see that I now have line 6, 25 by 4, and it adds the slab option to it. So now it's going to come over as a slab. Just a new option, new way of doing the same thing we did in OrderLink. Instead of the checkbox, it's now just a slab option to pick. Other than that, entering the doors and drawer fronts are pretty straightforward. And if you had an Excel spreadsheet, just like you did in OrderLink, you can actually copy from Excel. If you enter your quantity, your width, and your height in Excel in those 3 columns, you can actually copy the data and come in here and right-click Excel commands and paste to cells. Makes it a lot easier, so you could have a whole list of doors, a whole list of drawer fronts, and it works in drawer boxes as well. And you could actually open this up. You could come in here, right-click, and paste, and all you do is put your globals in, and you do a paste to cell, and populates everything all at one time. It's a lot easier. Instantaneous. You could have 30, 50 doors entered in a matter of 2 seconds versus manually enter them all in one by one. So there's some cool options with Excel that make it a lot more functional. You can do that with, like I said, you can do it with doors, drawer fronts, and drawer boxes, as long as you have it entered properly. So in doors, quantity, width, and height, if that's how you have your Excel spreadsheet set up with no extra columns in there, you can just highlight them, come in here, right-click, and paste all the data in, which makes it a lot easier. Okay. Moldings. Moldings are pretty straightforward. Obviously, the globals pull from what I entered from the doors. I can come over here and go over to moldings. You can see the different molding selections. I want a crown molding. You can see the picture. When I double-click the crown, it pulls it into the grid, shows me the price. If I know what molding I want, let's say 362, I can manually enter it in here as well. And that's, of course, I have to enter one that actually is valid. So let's say 361 light round. Enter, and you can see it pulls it into the grid. So you can pick from here, or you can actually manually enter it in here as well. Some of the options you can pick in here, let's say I wanted my molding to be bigger. You can do it a couple different ways. I could actually click on this extended length, and actually what I have to do is I drag it over to the line item. So let's say I wanted this to be bigger. Okay. Let's make it 10 foot long. Change that from 8 foot to 10 foot. It automatically pulls the price in, and it updates. You can see, just like in the doors, it adds 8.01, and now it's 10 foot, and it updates the price. In OrderLink, we actually didn't show the pricing on the extended molding lengths, and here we do. We show the pricing in here as well. So, which is nice. So you always see the current pricing. Molding is pretty much the same. There's no difference between the moldings, but we also added S4S cabinet framing. So if you wanted to order 8 foot lengths of just S4S material, you could do that. If I double click the S4S material, it comes up, what width do you want? Let's do 3 inches. Do I want it sanded or unsanded? And I'll just say sanded, 3/4 thickness. And now it's just one 8 foot piece of 3 by 96. And that's pretty much it with moldings, nothing special there. The decorative items, which would be the ornaments, we have them labeled Conestoga or Forever Day, Inkable, and Hafele. If I wanted a Conestoga ornament, decorative item, I can click on the plus. It shows me my different categories: legs, feet, corner treatment, quarter bowls, lead quarter bowls, metal quarter bowls. So If I wanted say I wanted Acuvus Corbel Style, I can double click it, pulls it over the grid. The same thing though is if you have a part number and you know what the part number is, you can actually start to enter. Just like we did in OrderLink, start entering and it's going to try to find it. So let's just say that's the one I want, pulls it over the grid. So that's the Conestoga moldings. Like I said, we have the Art for Everyday appliques and all the information of Art for Everyday, inkable, and hateful items. Okay. Specialty items. So just like in OrderLink, there's so much in specialty items, and I'm not going to go through all the different items in here. But what I just wanted to show you is a few of the items that most people order, especially if you ordered a finished product. So the question is, okay, how do I order finishing? I want to order some loose finish. There's actually a couple different ways to do it. We have this option called Finish Containers, and obviously now it's doing a save. I have it set to save every 15 minutes. It's doing a backup. Okay, so if I click on that little plus, you'll see that I have different color, match room color. If I click on that, it's now going to match whatever I have selected in my global. So I already have Crystal White Color Tone Coffee Glaze. So if I click on Finish, okay, it's going to ask me default gallon, but I can change it to something else. And let's say I just want a gallon of Crystal White to go with my order. It pulls it in, Finish, 61 bucks, and it's going to now send me Crystal White Color Tone. I can do the same thing with the glaze. Okay, what do I want? Let's do a quart of glaze, and it's pulling in the coffee glaze. So if I wanted to order extra of different colors, rather than just pulling from the global, we now can do the choose from list over here, and I can pick wiping stains. I can see all the different colors, true tones, color tones. So if I wanted to order another color tone, for instance, let's say I wanted to order the Arctic White, I can double click that. It brings up the same option, gallon. Okay, and now we're getting the 80 bucks for a gallon of the Arctic White. And you'll notice if I extend that a little further, this doesn't include the catalyst, so it's something that you'd want to order separately. And that would be done down here under the other. You can see we have Prism paints, we have the different catalysts, 494, V6, V21, some of the different catalysts involved. So all the different options are available. So finished containers, and some of the other options that most people order would be like plywood. We have the 1/4-inch plywood, 3/4-inch plywood. If you want to order sample chips, individual swatches, different color sets. Let's say I want to order color tone finish kit. Order that, along with, let's say I want the heirloom finish kit. Double click that. And let's say I want to order a touch-up kit as well. Say I want to order a touch-up kit of the finish. See, it's now going to send over a touch-up kit for the Crystal White. And let's also do one for the glaze. Balances, veneers. And like I said, we're not going to go through all the different options, but I just wanted to show you some of the other possibilities and some of the other options that you can order. And it's just a matter of going in and kind of getting used to the application. I mean, the big thing is getting in and using the application and kind of getting comfortable with it. Obviously, anytime you have any questions, Conestoga is here to help. And, I'm going to go through and do other videos showing you how to order some of the other products. So, like I said, once you start getting used to it and you have further questions, please don't hesitate to contact Conestoga for help. Thank you.